Yeah, very good morning to you, Ed. Good afternoon to all in the UK and Europe, and good evening to those that might be watching from VU2 land. This is the Worldwide Net, hosted by ZD6YI today. We wish to wish everyone on frequency a very happy afternoon. In keeping with good protocol, we wish to thank the BATC. We wish to thank the AMSAT DL group, AMSAT UK, and of course the Qatar satellite company for allowing us an opportunity to have a satellite on their satellite. Today on frequency we have the following. That's Nigel. I hope it's all going to work out well, Nigel. I saw you on the other link just now. Very good afternoon to you, to Echo Zero Echo Hotel Hotel. We also want to say hi to Martin, who will follow, G8KOE. And then Boris, that sounds very interesting that you got to show us, Boris. That's OH2UDS/TA7 Whiskey. And then we have Phil. Phil, I saw you the other night. Beautiful signal. And welcome back, Mike 0PIT. And then Matt, outstanding signal as usual, a Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. And hello to Martin, G4FKK. Martin the clockmaker. And then Leon, ZS1 Mike follows that. And then hello to you, Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. I hope we will all enjoy good video and audio today. It does look like it. But anyway, we're playing around. I'm copying Leon. Leon came up with an idea with a background, just put a piece of white paper behind him. So I thought, well, let me try a sheet. So the sheet's not ironed too well, but it sort of works. Anyway, it's a bit of fun. Right, with that, I pass it to you, Nigel, my dear friend. I hope you copy us okay. Let me just get this thing now to make sure I can switch it off. So, 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel Hotel to take it from ZA6 Yankee India.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me just transition over to that camera. Oh yeah, I've done it. So there you go. You should be seeing me now. And I'm going to turn off the volume so we're getting any audio. Good afternoon, and once again, it's been very nice to be able to come back on for 3 months. I've been off here 3 months because my dishes was out of line through the bad winds we had in just before Christmas, and my wife can't stop me climbing ladders now, so I have to wait till a good friend of mine is able to come and help me, and he's been over Easter, and we've got the 2 dishes lined up pretty good, and I'm keeping with the background. I've just gone for a straight green because it's not ironed. I'm hoping when it it's been hanging a couple of days, it should come out, but I've not had yet to actually filter a back image. The closest one I've got to, let's just show you quick and I'll come back, is that one, but obviously you can't see me, but I know you can just and put you on the background when you use a bit more, but oh yeah, where camera's there, yeah, so I'm just going to go back to my normal camera. So I've got the images, it's just got to play about with it. So good afternoon, I should say, Gary, Martin, Boris. I've not seen you before, it'd be nice to chatting with you, mate. Phil, I've not seen for a while. Matt, definitely not seen you. I've seen you transmitting before, but we've not actually spoken, so good afternoon to you when you're doing it is your turn. Good afternoon to Martin, GFK, G4FKK, Leon as normal, Ed as normal. Ed, I've got it working, as you can obviously see, but I'm having problems lip syncing, so as you can probably tell, my lip sync's out, but I'll keep trying. I've updated OBS to 29.02, and I've got OBS and virtual camera running, but I can't seem to get a lip sync sort of, but that's hardly only a minor thing for me. What I'm going to do anyway, just for quick, a few people's not, I'm going to hopefully play you a video. A lot of you, well, half of you've seen it, and half of you haven't. So I'm going to run it. It's only 5 minutes, and then I'll cut over to Martin G8KOE. Just so I think it's playing now. There's no sound, so you should be seeing me. Is it playing? Yes. So this is my story from building the shack 2 years ago. I apologise for those who've seen it before, but it's not over long. So that was the old shack, 2 garage, well, shed and a wooden shed, brick and built, and obviously we knocked it down, and that was the original base where we had to set it up for a shed. So once we cleared it out and cleared the sub base, then there's a few pictures where I've really bad bruised myself. I fell over. I started building a wall with a mate, and it tumbled over onto me, but I'm not going to show you that. It's quite nasty, but I'm prone to falling, so that's so that's the original wall, and just building up some bruise blocks to make it a double skinned. That's taken into the sun, so not a bad image really, but I mean it'll do for the you know, practice of this. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Putting up the walls. The one condition I had to put it on, the wife rules the roost, I must admit, but what wife doesn't, if truth be known, she said you can build your shed in your shack, but I will need a third for the lawnmower bit. So I had to give about 3-4 feet of it to the space to put in all their kit, like mowers and trimmers and etc. But I tried to keep, I have to put some of my stuff in, but it says you're encroaching on my my bit, but yeah, how it works. There's 2 doors. The wife's bit's the blue door and the shack is the brown door. And I got it all done through mate's rates, so just had to pay for care materials. So it wasn't overly expensive. I mean, it was probably, I don't know, 2 years ago, about 1,800 quid. Now probably 3 grand if you started that again with the prices. But everybody's got in the same boat with recession and what's going on in the world. There's electrics going in the sockets. I did it all myself. I've got a mate who's an electrician just to test it afterwards. So we've cladded. That's a bench going in and the bare minutes. So it's changed. Yeah, the socket's not changed, but the format's changed. There's the cladding. Oh, so two's out of sequence, it don't matter. But then we went for the cladding outside, and went for a plastic membrane roof. We had tiles on it, but my mate made a mistake. He didn't have the pitch right, so we had to change it from a tile to a plastic. So that's a plastic roof, and that's the end, as I say, of a short video. Now let me just make sure I can get back to camera. I hope you want to I hope it wasn't too boring for you, and just a bit of my background. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Martin, Stand by Martin, G8KOE. And if anyone's got any solutions to my lip sync, I'd be much appreciated. But anyway, I'll kill transmission and pass it over to Martin. Let me just put the test card up briefly. Cut across. Then once an hour comes up, I know what to.
Right, let's just make sure you got a bit of sound, and then we'll be away. Right, just make sure you got a bit of sound. Yep, that seems to be working. Well, good to see you then, Nigel. And yeah, I'd seen the shed build, but it's or the workshop build, or whatever you like to call it. But it's good to see it again. Interesting, and done very well indeed. And yeah, with the double skinned, etc. I wonder how warm, etc. it is, and whether there's any damp problems. I just think it's be all okay. Yeah, what have I been up to? Decided to try and get on the narrowband end. I was on it, but when I rearranged the shack or the work PA rack as such, or the rack in the garage, lost the use of it. So and also it used to use a separate dish, and I wanted to use just the one dish which I've got up now, which is can I show the picture of the dish, which is should be that one, not that one. Oh, I don't want that one. It's that one, isn't it? That's the dish I've got at the moment. I'll show all the pictures that I was going to show in a minute. Anyway, it's all good. Originally was going to use the main PA for the DATV, which I'm using now, but I had problems with it not liking the low input. I think the input stage of the amplifier requires a certain level before it sort of kicks in and does the clever bits and pieces. So decided to use a second PA, which I had. It's SG Labs 20 watt PA. And then needed to arrange that everything sort of got switched, etc. Originally I was going to try and put a separate feed in on the dish, which I did do and got it working, but it was fiddly and starting to get messy. Then saw on eBay a relay for sale, so I thought, well, let's go for it. So I've got a relay in line, so I can switch between the DATV side of things and the narrowband stuff. And that was the pictures I was showing just now. Let's go to the slideshow, get rid of that. That's the relay. Sits at the end of the garage, and that's the phase lock looped bit, the Liam Bodner on the DX Patrol up converter, which is what I'm using. And on the shelf sits the PA in that, which is half a computer case. The base of it, I cut it in half. It was an HP computer case. As you can see, the SG Labs PA at the end, little driver stage, there's a 6 dB pad, and the God, it's going quick now, isn't it? I should do individual pictures. But that's what the setup is. So I've got a 991 in the shack here, which is the corner of the lounge, which feeds the 5 watts out to the garage. Now, I also wanted to be able to keep using the 991 for 2 and 70. So the 991. So I've got a relay in the garage on the aerial side of things. So I wanted to think of simple ways to sort of switch things over. And I've got some of these mains plugs that you can key on and off. So I'd already used 2 of them. There's a third one. Now when I key the third one up, which livens up a 4-way effectively, so the revolts appear now on the relay. So that chunks the relay over. And it also there's also arranged so that disables the power supply to the PA, the DATV side of things, so I can't accidentally transmit on that. So that gets the input side sort of working. Also, that then switches the power on to the PA, and the relay that feeds the dish is fed from that power supply. There's a separate power supply for the narrowband stuff. So that relay then kicks over, and away we go. Yeah, initially I didn't have the Neobodner And my initial tests with a well-known amateur, I was all over the place, and it did drift a little bit, and the audio was rubbish, etc., etc. Mainly because of, I think, a lot of the settings in the 991, which I've got, to sort of get the EQ set up, and also it's RF sensed, and I think it was dropping out when I didn't talk too much. Now the other thing, let's go back to which picture? Right, that's the 77, the DATV PA, and I replaced the lead that comes out from there into the directional coupler, which I used to have all sorts of bits and pieces in there to make the coupling. Anyway, I've replaced that with a reasonable bit of lead. That goes to the helix that goes to the relay at the other end. And I thought I'd actually lose a fair bit, perhaps with the relay, etc. And in fact, it must be a better match or something, because I don't lose anything at all. In fact, I've gained a little bit, I think, on that side of things. So I wonder what other pictures I've got. I've also installed a switch arrangement, so Arduino and an 8-way switch that switches the relays, which I can do via a web interface. So I control anything that I suddenly decide I want to do in the future. That's the tidiness of the corner in the garage, which has gone from bad to worse, really. As all amateurs, they sort of keep making alterations and changes to things. But yeah, I think it's very pretty, really. But it's working well since second contact with the same helpful amateur, which we spoke about all sorts of things, including it's like an 80-meter net, really. We got talking about gardening, etc. And especially for him, he was sort of making comments about my background, so I made sure I had a special background for him. We go to the filters. There we go. So I thought he'd appreciate that. Anyway, that's enough from me. And I see it's Barris, is it? OH2 UDS. So I look forward to finding about the Mars on Earth project. I know nothing about it. Sounds interesting. That looks good. So quite like the background myself. I don't know how others feel. I'll put a test card up and pass it over to you there. OH2 UDS to take it. G8KOE.
A problem. So, Phil, will you mind taking it, and then we'll come back and give Barris another opportunity between you and Matt. Mike 0 Papa India Tango from ZA6YI.
Yeah, sorry about that. Finally made it. Yeah, good afternoon all. First time I've been on the net since last year. The way I used to feed the dish was basically on a cable through the window out to my little cupboard in the garden that's got the PA etc. in it next to the dish. Well, can't really do that during the winter because it's a bit too cold having the window open. So I wasn't on the air. And then, must have been about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I decided to put in a permanent cable so I don't have to go through the window anymore. Having done that, tried to go back on the air, and it was no good. It was basically, PA was consuming lots of current, and I was getting hardly any signal up to the satellite, and it was a bit of a shock. I thought I'd blown up my PA. Anyhow, the outcome was that I've got a second PA, so I tried that, same. I had a look at the driver stage, and that seemed to be a bit strange because it seemed to be at times, it wanted to oscillate about 3 gigs, which was extremely unusual. Anyhow, I brought everything indoors, tried it all in here, still the same problem. Knew the driver was all right, knew the PA was all right, and the only thing that was left was the potty. So I put a potty on a sort of a lash-up analyzer to see where it was tuned to, and it was nowhere near 2.4 gigs, which I thought was really strange because it looked perfect, etc. The only thing that was questionable was the solder joints on the SMA connector. So I resoldered them, tried everything, worked perfect. So it was some dry joints on the SMA into the potty. So I got it all back up and running. I gave the dish a bit of a kick, so I tuned that up, and here I am today. So you know, I'm back on the air, which is quite good. What have I been up to during the week? Well, 2 things. First thing was I was talking with Martin, KOE, about the old days of pirate radio, offshore pirate radio. And it got me thinking that I've got a load of tapes, 1/4-inch tapes, but I did copy them over to cassette. So I dug out my cassettes and I put them in the cassette machine, and did it work? No. The belts in the drive in the cassette recorder were perished. So that is, there it is. It's out of focus, but that's due to this little camera I've got up there. I can't get it in focus, but that's my cassette deck, which is now in bits, and I've just ordered about 30 drive belts for about £5. So I'm hoping that a couple of those will actually do the job, and then I'll be able to play these cassettes again, and bit of luck, Martin will be able to hear some familiar sounds. So let's put me back. That's me back on there. The other thing that I've been playing around with, or trying to play around with, is H.266. Now, my setup here is basically, it's all Linux. And I stream out of OBS into FFmpeg, which is being driven by a script. And in that script, I've put in 264 and 265. So those I've couple of the options that are there. But I thought, oh, I wonder if I can get 266 in there as well. So I've been looking at that, and it turns out that FFmpeg, as it is of today, has 266 decoders, but it doesn't have encoders. And you actually have to import these encoders into the build of FFmpeg. So I've been trying that. It's a lot of work to actually do it. It's not like a couple of clicks or a couple of commands. It's quite a lot to get it in. Haven't succeeded yet, and maybe at the end of today I might get it in there. How successful H266 is, we shall see. But it's just something I've been playing around with. I think really that's enough waffle for me. So I think I'm going to hand it over to Matt, M0DQW. So I'm going to put up a test code, and then it's over to you then, Matt.
Just quickly, Gary, did you want to see if OH2 UDS wanted to come in before I crack on?
Okay, Matt, we can try that. Boris, are you back, perhaps? OH2 UDS, and then you pass it to Matt if you're there, ZA6YI. Making it. I don't know what's going on. I have to look. I don't see any word from him. So Matt, please take it and pass it down the net, and we'll just give another shout when it comes back to me. While I've got the mic, if you don't mind, I just wanted to say hi to Frank, G8PQH. Nice to have you on, Frank. Also want to say hi to Don, Echo India 8 Delta Juliet in Ireland. And to Turby, Delta Lima 7 Tango Juliet. And then to Ocean Echo 6 Delta Zulu Foxtrot, or DK3 Zulu Foxtrot. Hello, Peter. And then ZA6VXN, that's Andrea Louise. And also to Stephen, ZA6 X-Ray uniform. And then there was 7 X-Ray 2 Tango Tango from Algeria. He was watching on YouTube. He did say 7-3 had to run. But there we go, Matt. Nice audience. So back to you, M0DQW from ZA6YI.
Thanks, Gary. So I'm just making sure we had the audio there. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well, and good to see you all on the net this afternoon. I did just make a couple of comments, a couple of notes rather, just really. Gary, your picture looks so much better on my eyes with just that clear background. You've always got a really good picture, but your background, for me, on my eyes, it used to be quite very bright. So having that, what you've got now, I think it looks a lot better for me, anyway. So that's just that, that's just my opinion. Nigel, nice to meet you for the first time. 2E0EHH. Yep, I think I saw you on the BATC net on Thursday. I just watched. I didn't manage to jump on. But thanks for showing the video. That's really interesting. That's something that I want to do here, actually. My shack is upstairs. I have a room dedicated as my office and shack. And all of my DATV and QO-100 gear is all out in the conservatory. And it's all done over network, which works perfectly fine. But I think that something that I want to do in the future will be to build a dedicated shack out of, bricks and mortar at some point. But yeah, it's interesting to see how you've done that. So that's good. And hopefully you'll do another video follow up of that, and we can see everything else that you've got set up in there. So, nice to meet you. And also with your lip sync issue, I think you use DATV Easy, I believe. I'm pretty sure you use that. I have mine set to, on the configuration tab of DATV Easy, I have an audio sync of 400. 400 is what I have. Not minus, but there's no plus there. It just says 400. So, and that was actually a figure that was given to me by Martin, KOE. And for me, I think that works okay. I mean, you guys will be able to tell better how the lip sync looks, but that's what I've got anyway. I've got 400, so maybe try 400 as a ballpark figure, and try that. KOE. Well, what could I say about you, KOE? Yeah, the grass is always greener on the other side, eh, my friend? Maybe you need to get a better amp, I can use my amp, just one single amp for narrowband and DATV, so maybe you've got a bit of an inferior amp there that needs to be changed. So you don't have to mess around with two different amps, But anyway, there we go. That's just a bit of a dig, really, at KOE for taking the mickey out of the fact that he thinks I like gardening. Anyway, nice to see M0PIT. Great picture and audio, all very good. Okay, so what have I been up to? So I think I was last on a couple of weeks ago on here, and I'm pretty sure it was this net. And Mike was showing some stuff on KiCad because I was trying to design, or I wanted to design, or take someone else's design that they drew a little circuit for an RF detector using a diode, and I wanted to draw it in KiCad rather than using some sort of some copper-plated PCB board. I did build that, by the way, out of the copper, out of the PCB board, and it worked, but something's gone wrong with it. So, but anyway, long story short, I did manage to get. Let's make sure you still got audio. I did manage to get my design working in KiCad. Following on from what Mike had shown us, I managed to get it looking like this, which is great. And then if we go to a 3D view of it, hopefully you can see this. This is what it looks like. It's probably not going to mean much to anybody who didn't see what we was talking about before, but anyway, I've managed to create this board, and this board is very small. It's like 25mm by 15mm, so it looks huge, and the pads look huge, and that's because it's actually a really small board. But anyway, I've ordered them from PCB Way. They've already been manufactured and they are currently in shipping. So it's going to be interesting to see how well that works. I think I'm going to encase this board in something, and I'm going to be using extra thick wire which will come out of it. So just to quickly recap for those that are not sure what I'm talking about here, is this is going to be an RF detector board using a diode, and what will happen is is one end will connect to the left side here. I'll have an SMA connection on it, and that will connect to a directional coupler, which has got a minus 40 dB out on it. And then the other end over here on the right side, we should then get a voltage, a DC voltage. And that has been scaled, or the voltage has been documented about kind of like, you know, how many dBm is going in, or minus dBm is going in, dB is going in. So, and then obviously I will be translating that in Node-RED to give me a nice diagram, or nice. See, at the moment, if I show you this, you probably can't see that very well. That says I'm pushing 158 watts, but I know that's not right at all. So something's gone wrong with what I made before. But that was on like a little bit of strip board. So I know that it should be better with this PCB. Anyway, I'm waffling on. Right, I will put it back. I'll now put it over to Martin, G4FKK. So good to see you guys. And yeah, I'll put it over to G4FKK from M0DQW.
Yep, okay, Matt, M0DQW, G4FKK returning. And good afternoon to you and everyone else on the net. Sorry, I thought my clock had just gone wrong, but it hasn't. So, good to see you all on. Apologies about my terrible picture. My picture was great a few months ago, but everyone's got more advanced than me ever since then. And Phil, H266, well, good luck with that. I don't know how difficult that is to decode. Interesting that FFmpeg can decode it, but I've been only running H265 about a year, so I'm going to stick there for the time being. I'm one of those people, if it works, I daren't touch it, let alone don't touch it. Anyway, Gary, good afternoon to you. Great to see you on. And yeah, I quite liked your old background, but that's probably just because I'd got used to it. Anyway, the sheet looks good, and you'll have to dig the iron out, as you say, Gary. And hello to everyone else who's watching, by the way, especially Don, EI8DJ. Usually got some amusing comments when I've come across him before. Adam's watching as well, SP9ACQ. So good afternoon to you. Nigel, great to see you again. I'm glad the gear's still working. And yeah, I have seen the video before, but it was a salutary reminder that I've got to get on with my workshop. So I saw a few handy tips come up there. So that was fine business. And Martin, KOE, okay, on the fun and games on the narrowband. Yeah, I've got a Leo Bodnar, but when I used to be narrowband only, I was GPS locked. So I had a Pluto that was GPS locked. The LNB was GPS locked, etc. But since I've been on DATV, none of it's locked anymore for various reasons. So when I went on narrowband a couple of days ago, it was a nightmare. Oh, and Graham's G3YJR is watching as well on his Portsdown 4. And yeah, Phil, moving cables, nightmare. I had my transmit driver packed up the other day, and that was an SMA connector. It's what it boiled down to. But it took me a few days to get round to fixing it. very annoying. And the pirate stuff would be quite interesting. I've got some lots of tapes of one of the land-based pirates of which I was, or with which I was involved when I was about 14 years old, in case any officials are watching now. Radio Jackie, so used to go and help put their aerials up, and it was my job to run away with the crystal if we got raided, because I was the youngest and fastest. Those days are gone as well. Matt, great to see you. Your lip sync is fine, no problem at all. And glad to hear you're having a dig at the King of England there. He's far too rude, gets away with murder. So get your own back while you can. You won't win, Matt, by the way. And fine about KiCad. Yeah, I designed the boards in Eagle, because again, KiCad looked like a bit of a steep learning curve to me, but it is nice to be able to do the 3D rendering. Well, apart from mending the transmit preamp, I've not been doing a huge amount radio-wise, but I thought I'd quickly show you this extremely annoying watch movement. It's a lovely watch movement, actually, but it's been giving me quite a lot of pain the last few days. It's running very fast, and I've had that balance apart several times, and the hairspring looks fine. So I have a feeling, I could be wrong. See if I can do this. Hang on a sec. I've got a nasty feeling, although it looked okay when I look. If I zoom in, sorry about the wobbly. If you can just about see the pivot on the balance staff, and I think that's slightly bent. It's wobbling about more than it should do, and I think it's slightly bent, which will be that'll be good fun on the watchmaker's lathe in due course. The other thing I thought to show, that watch, by the way, was part of a job lot of several watches, none of which worked. So if I go over to the unsteady cam, there they all are. I've got most of them working now. Sorry about the lighting. And these little tiny ones, these are ladies' watches. Actually, I'll put that under the microscope, and I can I'll have to focus it in. These watches are amazing. They're absolutely tiny. I think you can just about see. There's my stubby finger, but it's got an automatic complication in it, and the date down on the bottom there. So it's a miracle. How did they do that? Surprisingly easy to maintain. Oh, I'm just showing that there's no flipping picture, is there? There you go. That's the tiny watch, again with my stubby forefinger. Despite it being absolutely minute, and some of the screws are perilously small, but most of it's actually quite easy to take apart and put back together again. So anyway, that's enough about horology. This is a radio net, isn't it? I keep forgetting. Right. With that, I think it's down to Ed next. I don't know what happened to Boris there, but hopefully we'll get to see him perhaps on the next over, Gary. Oh no, it's not Ed next. Sorry, Ed. Stand by your beds. It's Leon next. Sorry, Leon. ZS1 Mike take it with the worldwide net. This is Golf 4 Foxtrot Kilo. Slightly confused and bewildered. Standing by.
Okay, Martin, we'll forgive you. G4FKK and the group ZS1 Mike saying hello there, and a good morning to Ed. Can't wait to see his latest cartoon. Yes, and there's my very, very complex background. Anyway, and earlier today I had a QSO with Frank, DD0 Charlie Whiskey, and he said, "You've got the wrong shirt on, it's confusing the picture." Yes, I know, it's I didn't think of it when I put it on this morning. It's not good for television. Anyway, okay, Nigel, I'm very glad to see that you've finally made it now after all our experiments early in the week, or was it last week? And you were doing well. It's just your sync, and then you're perfect, because the picture is good and the audio is good now. You've got enough level and everything is just fine and dandy. Okay, Gary. Yeah, what? No, there wasn't much from Gary. Gary's been at the races. Okay, Martin, RF switching. Yeah, you have a very complex business there. Gee whiz. Funny enough, early in the week I fired up my narrowband stuff, just the receiving bit, and they're saying no. After DATV, no, there's no place in my heart for narrowband SSB on QO-100. No, that Donald Duck, no. So sorry, I'll pass that one. Okay, Barris is not there. Phil, I can't remember much about what Phil was saying, but hello to you anyway. I don't think we've spoken before. Matt, your detector board, yes, I'm glad to see you've mastered the KiCad now. I've had a look at it, and it looks like a very nice program, but I've been using Tango for so many years now that I'm really very reluctant to drop that and start to learn a new system. But yes, what you can do with it is amazing. As a matter of fact, with Tango I have to make the boards myself, because there's nobody left who can read the Tango files. There was one old chap in Cape Town who had a PC plant, and he could still read the Tango files and convert them to whatever the standard is that it should be. But he's closed shop, and now there's nobody, so you have to do it yourself or use a different program. So I'll stick to my Tango for now. Right, but your detector board looks nice. Yeah, I wonder what changed, eh? It's reading rather high. Okay, G4FKK, Martin. Yes, that is a tiny watch, eh? And well, why don't you just add a touch of solder on that balance stop? Just give it a little bit more weight to slow it down. I think you said it was too fast. So just give it a little bit more mass on the head of one of those little screws on the periphery, and maybe that'll fix it. Okay, yes, I haven't got much to do. I was down at the airfield this morning. We're working on a friend of mine on his aeroplane, and this thing is called a RDAC. It's all glass cockpit. He's got, as a matter of fact, he's got two big screens in there, which takes the place of all the normal instruments. And this little box it's basically an analog to digital converter, and the cylinder head temperature sensors are normal thermocouples, and they are silver soldered to a copper ring which goes under the spark plug. So you take out the spark plug, put this thing in and tighten it. Okay, nice. It measures the cylinder head temperature, and it measures exhaust gas temperature and everything else. This thing's got, like, how many inputs has it got? It's got 12 thermocouple inputs, this box. And what happened from the vibration, two of the thermocouples, they broke off right at the spark plug, at that copper ring. And it actually damaged this box. I've repaired the thermocouples. I've cut off about 5 millimeters, refused them in a gas flame, to get the thermocouple again, and then the little ball just dotted it onto the copper with silver solder again, and the thermocouple works. But it killed two of the channels on this box. and it comes in through all these connectors here. Then it goes through, it's got a terminating resistors on it, and then it goes through a series 100 ohm resistor. It's balanced to a 4052, which is a multiplexer chip, which we cannot get. It's a normal surface mount 4052. You get a 4051 and a 4053. They are single-ended multiplexers, but the 4052 is a 4-channel balanced, so it's got 2 inputs per channel and 1 dual output. Anyway, they seem to be obsolete around here, so yes, there are some overseas places that have got them in stock at not a bad price, but 600 Rand for postage, for to get it here, which is ridiculous. So I must dig around and search around on the internet and see if I can find some 4052s. Just a simple little multiplexing IC. There's 3 of them in here, but it's only the one that's gone. It must have been static because it's a CMOS chip, and with the ends floating and touching and not touching through the vibration, I guess it just popped it. And you can actually measure it. If you measure the ports, that one is open, it's totally high impedance, whereas the working ones they've got some reading there. So very, very, very interesting. Okay, right, that's enough from me, and now I'm curious to see Ed's cartoon. Ed, over to you. Papa Yellow 2 Romeo November for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Hello everybody. I always forget to switch to the correct video input. Well, nice to see you all. Just a little tribute to our friends from the CB, Citizen Band, or Chicken Band, no, Citizen Band. Let me put myself in mute so you guys not gonna hear echoes and not hear myself. Yeah, so just this is my CB shock, and I'm in it right now. No, that's just a counterpoint for Gary and Leon. So just a counterpoint, not flat white backgrounds. We need animated, and we need colors. So yeah, okay, you guys with this flat white backgrounds, yeah, you look nicer, better resolution of your face and everything. But what the hell, you wanna be Hollywood artist is what? But no problem. It's been very nice to watch you all, and I see Nigel back. Welcome back. Also Phil. Nigel, interesting. Your shack, your new shack is going on. It's being constructed. It seems a cathedral because it's taking forever, but hopefully gonna be ready soon, right, Nigel? Martin, G8 QOE, nice see you also. Your air condition to refrigerate the PA, it's good. I think I need to do that for my HF PA. Phil, you mentioned H266. I thought that you mentioned by mistake, but no, you're serious about H266. I never heard about it. Never heard about H266. I thought that it would end on H265, but anyways, I need to search. And Matt, nice project, this telemetry system. Yeah, I do need to do something similar. Yeah, since I started here on the DATV, because everything is on the roof, PA, Pluto, and everything is in a box on the roof, so I really need some kind of telemetry to monitor. I do have temperature. I do have remote temperature sensoring, but no power, no SWR. So yeah, let us know more what happens with your system there. So maybe something interesting to assemble here. And for Martin, I don't know what's wrong with your image. Your image is perfect as always. Good image. I can see the flowers that Mrs. FKK puts always on that little table behind you. Always beautiful, and your image is perfect. No problem at all. Regarding that clock that running fast, I have a suggestion. Well, Leon gave you a suggestion to put a drop of solder there. I have something better. Why don't you just connect a GPS DO on that, and you know, it will be very precise. Okay, just put in a GPS DO, and that problems get fixed. You're gonna get right time every time. Yep, Leon, nice to see you with your white flat background. And that's it, guys. I'm working with. I'm more dedicated to HF lately. Not. I assemble one of these kits. Let me try to show you guys. Hold on a second. This antenna tuner. You buy the kit in China. It claims to be 1000 watts. So I purchased the kit. It comes with the boards, with the Altoroids and all components, and purchased the box as well, and assembled. It's working. I couldn't say 100% because you have to calibrate. Obviously, you have to calibrate the forward power and the reflected power. So you're gonna be able to. You're gonna be able. It uses a peak processor, and it's gonna be able to calculate SWR to make the adjustments, right? The problem is if you calibrate, let's say, in 14 megahertz and 20 meters, it's gonna be one thing. But if you go up to 28 megahertz, it's gonna be very different. So it's kind of not linear, but it gives you possibility to manual adjustment. So yeah, I'm still working on that, and let's see. All right, it seems that Bodies came on. Yeah, he was saying that he would get late, but it seems he arrived. So I'm gonna pass to Bodies, Oscar Hotel 2 Uniform Delta Sugar, or Tango Alpha 7 Whiskey. Bodies, we hope to see you now. 7312 from Brazil, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Yep, I think you can hear me, I hope. Yep, I think you can hear me. I can hear my voice from the TV, so let's open this camera first. Yeah, thank you for getting me in. It's an honor for me to be here and talking to you guys, because most of the time I was following you only on the reception side, and today it's good to be in the net with you. I'm in Finland, at the north part of the world, and not far than Ed. He's, I think, at the other edge on the west side. And thank you, Gary, for managing this net. Today I would like to talk about a little bit about my check, my preparation. As you see, normally my working environment is a little bit untidy. Here I can show you that some amplifiers on ladders connected to the antennas on the roof, but today I managed to put everything into a box like this, and I have it in the roof in front of my 2.5 meter dish, and I think all is good. I always see you guys having very good pictures of yourself all the time, which is not same for me. Normally when I'm watching my picture on TV, which is at my back, my picture is not good as yours, but I know that I will learn a lot from you. Yeah, today I would like to talk a little bit about using the QO-100 for fun with children, to give them a little bit space awareness. Thank you all guys supporting us. Up to now we mostly worked on the SSP side with the KGS TV and some voice part. We did some fox hunting activities on the satellite and sending some pictures to the satellite using the KGS TV. 23rd of April every year is the National Independence and the Kids Day, Children Day in Turkey, where I'm from. And this year we wanted to have QO-100 in our activities for this 23rd of April, as we did before, mostly on HF. So I would like to share you my screen. I hope you will see it. Yep, you can. This year we asked kids to prepare or draw pictures about the future and send them to us, and we promised them that we will send these pictures to space. While saying space, yes, we will send them to QO-100 with the KGS TV, but that means, by the way, they will go into the deep space as well, and we hope some extraterrestrial people can capture those pictures. Most probably this year we will have hundreds of pictures to be sent by Turkish stations. Previously it was only Finland and Germany, because the QO-100 usage is forbidden in Turkey. It's not allowed to use 2.4 gigahertz. Only after the 6th of February, where we had an earthquake in Turkey, it's allowed to transmit on that frequency, and now we have friends from Turkey on the satellite as well. Yeah, as I said, this year we will all together with the guys, with my friends, radio enthusiasts from Turkey, we will be transmitting those pictures to space. And for those who are interested, you can visit the MarsOnEarthProject.org page to see what does this mean for the ham radio operators. If you can capture any KGS TV transmission, if you can capture any QO-100 DATV transmission or SSP transmission about this activity and send it to us using the forms in this web page, then you will get a certificate that you attended to this activity. In this page here is the link for the certificate application. If you have some screenshots on the 23rd of April about this activity, please don't forget to send them to us. So yes, I would like to keep it short as possible, not to bother you. So that's all I can say. So I think I was the last in the list, so I will pass the microphone to Gary. Thank you. Oscar Hotel 2, Uniform Delta Sierra. Stop.
Okay, very, very good indeed, and very warm welcome to you indeed, Boris. And beautiful signal, nothing wrong with your signal there. You might just take the light away in the roof. If you take that away, it might be a bit better. But perfect, audio great, signal great, and content excellent, very nice. We will look forward to looking at that. And hopefully we can get one of those certificates for sure. Yeah, Ed, Leon and I were playing around. Actually, Leon started the thing with a very simple background. And so we thought, oh, well, let's give it a go. By the way, Martin, KOE, your switches look great, no problem. Your video looks great, but just don't nibble on that grass in the background just now. And you're quite right, Martin FKK. You never win against King of England there. Never. We always pull each other's legs. Nigel, just to go down the list, wonderful to have you back again and the dish realigned. And also great pictures on your Radio Shack, and you say it's to be continued. So we would like to see the next video next week or so. But well done to you. And pity the wall fell down, but whatever. You're on the air, good signal, good audio, everything cooking on gas. So that's wonderful. Once again, Martin, your switching looks great, complicated and all. But yeah, I had to laugh at Matt's little leg pull on the amp there. There's nothing wrong with your amp, Martin. A little bit of regrowth at the bottom, and I'm quite honest about that. I was going to tell you earlier. I don't know why that should be. You never had that. So perhaps you must follow Phil's example. And Phil, the problem you had with your potty, I threw out those little SMAs and put a proper N-type connector, properly soldered, and that was the end of those problems. So we had similar problems at one stage. But anyway, welcome back on DATV. And, when people do makeshift jobs, they work the best. And that also, as you tried to tell us there, Boris, it doesn't matter how untidy, as long as it works. When you tidy up things, it looks like you invite Murphy to come and visit. Anyway, Matt, as per usual, lovely picture, audio great, sync perfect, no problem. So you've got that nicely licked there. And then, of course, Martin, Mr. FKK, he does all these repairs on these watches and clocks. And then he starts moaning if it's 1 second in 5 years out. So I listen with one ear when he talks about it not being accurate. But great job there, Martin, as usual. And yeah, it might help if you put a blob of something. I don't know if solder will hold. Perhaps it would if it's brass. But that might be a cure. But I think I like your idea. Is take out the little wheel and put it onto your jeweler's lathe, and then you're going to have fun. Yeah, Leon, I don't know. I was on SSB the other day, but I understand why you don't like SSB with a Donald Duck. In the old days, when AM radio was and CW was the two modes, and they brought on SSB, they used to say AM was advanced modulation, and SSB was scientific setback. So I presume that's what's bothering you, is the scientific setback side. Ed, yes, I laughed at that. I actually saw that cartoon earlier in the week. And in South Africa, we used to call the CBs the criminal band, which reminds me of Martin. I was watching Martin and Phil, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and they were exchanging beautiful cards that they had received from being involved with pirate stations, Radio Caroline and all. And there was old Martin, King of England, with his long hair and doing the audio or something on that station. Good days, but it was wonderful watching that. I think it was on Friday night. I was watching that with great interest there, Martin. Right. I'm going to now officially close the net. We just want to also say hi to Adam, SP9ACQ, and Graham, Golf 3 Yankee Juliet Radio, and of course to Randall, Papa Echo 1 Sierra Delta Echo, also watching on YouTube. And we hope to see you guys on. And a special hi to Andrea Louise. Nice to have you on. And I hope Stephen will get things moving that we can see you guys on DATV in the not too distant future. By the way, old Tom, he's just cracked the project he was working on with the receiver. I don't want to take any thunder away from his wonderful work. So I hope Tom will come on next week and give a demonstration. The little bit I saw on our DATV channel was great. Well done there, Tom. And also to Uhan, who had painted his house, so his antennas are all away, and he's due to go overseas or wherever for 12 days. But when he returns, he's got a new dish, newly painted house, and so we look forward to a lovely signal from Uhan again. Right, with that, I'm going to close the net, but we can still follow down for those that are interested. 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel Hotel. Nigel, will you take it and run through the net from ZA6 Yankee India?
Oh dear, what? Yeah, I think I've got audio. I've certainly got picture. Yeah, yeah, all I've got to do is, I always forget to transition over. There you go, I'm back now. Yeah, thanks Gary, and thanks for your comments. I've changed the spec, the, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, the audio sync. I've changed it to 14 mat, 400 mat, not plus, well just 400 in the box. Which, so I'm on, I can't remember which camera to keep looking at. I always tend to look away, I don't know why. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know if that lip sync is any better. You'll have to give me a report if you get round to it, mate. Yeah, going, only one comment I've got. Well, I've got more one comment, I'll keep it short. Phil, M0PIT, first time we've met. Good day, good afternoon to you, sir. Your transmission was kept dropping out on me. I don't know why. I don't know if you got, a signal. I don't know if any other stations was feeling, was having problems with you. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Audio and video was okay. It just seemed now and again just to drop out, and I had to double click on the band view and to bring you back. Well, it could be my hand. I'm not saying it's yours, but I mean, just wondered if if anyone else noticed. Martin, doesn't matter about a grass, mate. Any background suited. Matt, yeah, thanks for your comments, mate. So I've set this up to 400, so it'll be interesting to see if my lip sync is any better. Martin, good afternoon to you, as you said, mate. Nice to see you. And just a bit of BATC. I don't. Well, it's open. I don't mind it. Do we have to log in to say we come into the Cat 23? But I don't see it in the shop, because when last year we had to contact you through the shop saying that, you know, we're coming. I don't know. You could just comment next to. Yeah, that's about it, I think. I can't think of it. Ed, your background, was that live? I'm saying live. Was that a picture on your background, or was it a live shot? Because it looked quite interesting, fun, like a fun fair, so to speak. And that was Ed and Barazis. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name correctly. Of all, I'm pronouncing my name correctly. Welcome to you, sir, and looking forward to more comments about the moon thingy-majig. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm going to say 73. I'll try listening till the end anyway, but so I won't come back. This is my last transmission. And yes, I'm going to work on this week if I can. Don't probably not get it ready because it takes a long time for me to do stuff. I'm going to do a second video on the shack and the radio build and that stages I've got to, because as you can imagine, it takes me quite a longer than normal people. Well, I'm not saying I'm not normal, but it just takes 4 times as long for me to do anything. But that's just my condition. Anyway, enough of me. So, good afternoon, and 73 to everybody. So I've locked to the end, so I'm going to pass it over to Martin when I put it back onto carrier. Martin G8 KOE, and you can take it when I drop carrier. Looking forward to seeing you already next week. 30HH and the Worldwide Net. Thank you. Just cut back to that's it, and we'll cut straight across. There you go. Wait till I get this to the there you go. Martin, over to you. K8 KO.
Right, there we go. I think we've got it. Let's mute this. Yeah. Well, that's the PA in the background for you there, Matt. That's my NAF PA. And yeah, I did reduce the drive a little bit. Yeah, I know I've got a bit of yes at the bottom. Thanks for mentioning it there, Gary. I've got another PA that I'm going to look into. I think possibly a bit of overdriving on this one to get the power. I don't know. I'll have another further look. I can alter the bias on the one that I'm playing with, but it's not too bad at the moment. It's right. Let's get rid of me briefly. Yeah, that's the PA mat. It's a modified one of those, and I think the input circuitry. Let's go to picture. Next one. That's me with having shoved an N type on the output, and the input comes in on the other N type. But I think the circuitry is a little bit more involved. That tends to need a certain amount of drive. Yeah, I know my system's complicated. Things always are. I tend to like. Oh, we've got the grass on that one, haven't we? I need to get rid of the grass. Don't want the grass. Yeah, I see you having a dig at me, Matt. Was that a gardening term? I wonder. You know, I can't do 2 things at once. You seem to have it mastered there, Matt. I want to get rid of that one. That's right. We go back to the normal side of things. And please, you were watching there, Gary, on all the bits of offshore radio, etc. Well, they weren't all offshore, were they? Some were land-based. But I get myself into trouble, really. And as you saw, I did have long hair. I didn't do any of the DJing. That was part of the disco that I was involved with, which I keep knocking the camera there. But anyway, it's good fun. I'm trying to get a few more bits and pieces. Yeah. Yeah, to you there, the other Martin, Radio Jackie. Yes, I had DF been on the Radio Jackie at one point with a load of other amateurs. The talkback was on top band between mobile to mobile. I wasn't licensed then, but I was just listening at a converted Lafayette receiver, so I could actually hear what they were saying. I'd rewired the valves, so I was could run it off the car. That was in the Mini. I remember Carol was pregnant at the time, and we were charging around chasing Jackie, the things you do, you see. But from what I remember, some of their transmissions they used to do from an old pram, which they'd put the ails up directly under the pylons to get the coverage a little bit. But I know when some of our guys located, got close to where they were, the transit van arrived. Some gentlemen got out and suggested that we went somewhere else, so we did. And when you worked for the Beeb, do you remember Carnival Radio? I probably asked you. I was tied up down in Brighton, and used to upset Radio Brighton, or did upset Radio Brighton on Carnival Day. But anyway, enough of that. And yeah, your sync there is a little bit still out there. I don't know whether it's actually changed from when you first started, but yeah, I'll leave that to Matt to help you out on that one. And Phil's transmission did hiccup with me a couple of times. It freezes and then moves on. I'm using the Open Tuner, which is okay on everybody else, or most people anyway. They always get hiccups on certain things, but it freezes and then it sort of catches up. I think when we chatted the other day, it was doing that. But yeah, I'm fine on Tom's made the breakthrough. Look forward to that. I'll be able to try out my Mini Tune V2. That sounds good. I know he said he made it sound very easy when he was on the other day. They just had a little bit to do. But anyway. Right, this is supposed to be a short over, really, wasn't it? Was there anything else I was going to comment on? Mars on Earth project, that's right. That looks very interesting. I'll see whether I can locate something on the web on that and see if I can grab a picture. That's good. This is in Winter Hill, Nigel. That's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, as I said, the Mars on Earth project. That sounds absolutely good. Like the idea of that a lot. We'll look around and see if I can grab a picture and get acknowledgement there. So I'll scan on the 23rd, I think it was. But I'll look on the web and see if I can find the appropriate page. Right, who's next? It's that's Phil next, isn't it? MCO-PIT. The one with the locking up signals. And the old valve base recamer, which you were doing the other day. Yes, I must stop being rude to people. Yeah, look forward to those tapes. And was that a Denon in the background? Cassette deck looked like a Denon sort of from the front. Used to have to repair loads of Denon bits and pieces when I was in the sound and lighting side of things. That and Tower, the 4 Tower bay arrangements, which you'll probably remember. You know. Anyway, I'll put test card and back to you there, Phil, from G8KOE.
Right. Yeah, that's me. Right, Martin, KOE. it's a TIAC. I've hardly used it. The tape head's virtually brand new on it. But when I did come to use it, of course, the drive belts have perished, which is not unusual. But we got Martin FKK and we've got Martin KOE, both involved with, shall we say, illicit radio. Is there something to do with the name? Very strange, two people with the same name being involved with the same thing. Martin FKK, Radio Jackie. I was living in Brighton at the time, and I think I was picking up a Radio Jackie down in Brighton. It was a long time ago. I'm sure I picked up Jackie. I don't think I've got any tapes of Jackie, because it was very rarely that I picked it up. But anyhow, yeah, they were good days. Yeah, they were good days. Martin, your driver blowing up. Well, when I was trying to sort out my problem, my driver is basically made up of a full watt output stage and a cheap Chinese wideband pre-driver. I actually blew that pre-driver up twice while I was playing around with it. I think because it was on the bench, there might have been something that touched it when it shouldn't have done. But yeah, I had problems with my driver as well. And Ed, H266, I don't know much about it. It was only a couple of days when I picked it up. I thought, oh, it sounds interesting. Apparently, 266 will save about 50% on bandwidth over H265. But it does take a lot of processing power to actually compress it. But I shall see. It's something to play with. Yeah, Nigel, I've put a bit more power up. What am I at the moment? Yeah, so I'll put a bit more power up. So I'm hoping that's what the issue is or was. But anyhow, I should keep an eye on my signal freezing up during the week. Anyhow, that's enough of waffle from me. So I'm thinking I'm handing it over to Matt. So it's over to you, Matt, and is M0PIT shutting down after everybody's had their turn at waffling, just like me. So I put the test card up. Yeah, that's a test card. Remove my signal.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much, Phil. Your signal wasn't cutting out at all with me. It was perfectly fine. It was all good. So it just must be KOE's dodgy setup, I think. But anyway. OH2 UDS, Barris, nice to see you on the net, and thanks for all the information on the Mars project. It's interesting to hear about things like that, and I'll be sure to see if we can capture anything and get a certificate. That'd be nice. G7JTT John says good afternoon, all on the QO-100 net. Good afternoon to you. Yeah, just a quick thing. So, is maybe what the problem is, Gary? You mentioned about KOE's shoulders on his signal. I think it might be the grass growing. I think that's what it is. So, maybe you need a bit of weed killer on it or something. Anyway, talking about H2, actually, just before that, Nigel, oh yeah, your lip sync was actually still out, unfortunately. Just remember that when you make an adjustment on DATV Easy, you have to, depending on what version you've got, if you've got the plus next to the start on the start button, you can just press the start again, and it will save those settings. I don't think you can just enter another value and it's live straight away. I'm not 100% sure, but I would any adjustments that you make on it, you can either stop it and then start it again just to be sure that it saves them. And okay, so yesterday, F1 EJP was doing some tests of transmitting H266 via the satellite, and Chris 2E Oily, I'm pretty sure, 2E0ILY, he was watching at the same time and also decoding the same as what we was doing yesterday. And let me just pop it over to here, to this screen. So F1 EJP, he was doing some tests. It looks like he's incorporating H266 into DATV Easy 2.17. And this is kind of what it looked like if I just zoom in here. So this was on 125 kilosymbols, and the quality was really good. It was quite amazing. Which was quite nice. And to decode it, decode the signal, he provided a batch file, which ran F play, I think it is, which outputs a UDP stream, which connects to a UDP stream. So what I done is that to capture it, I used the DMod GUI application and connected to my Pluto and tuned in, and then took the UDP output and piped it through that way. But yes, I think from what he was saying was that it's going to take a lot of processing power as well, and I believe that he's actually quite active in the chat. So I believe that he's quite active in the chat, and he's been quite actively testing it as well. So if you see some really thin transmissions, you could probably try and do this, try and decode it yourself, and it's quite interesting. I believe he uploaded the zip file, which contains the FF play and the batch file, to the Viva TV forum. If you want to have a play around with yourself, obviously you can take the UDP from Minituner, but this is just the way that I was testing it yesterday. Was using the Pluto on receive while using because my Minituner's remote. So definitely interesting, and I'm pretty sure that I read a comment earlier that apparently that there's no hardware for decoding or encoding of H266 at the moment, so maybe the graphics cards are not supported. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm not stealing anybody's thunder or whatever. That's just the information that I had heard and what I was viewing yesterday, and along with Chris as well. I think Chris was probably the first to decode it, using his setup. That's 2E0 ILY. In fact, Chris, if you're watching, you should pop up on the net sometime. It'd be good to see you and join in. It'd be good. Right, okay, that's enough waffle from me. I can feel the weeds starting to sort of crawl over me. I think they're coming from Somerset or wherever the king comes from. Anyway, so I'll put it over to, who's next on here? Martin, G4 FKK from M0DQW. Have a great week, everybody. And I'll see you next week, hopefully. If I haven't been taken out by KOE.
Okay, Matt, M0DQW G4FKK. All copy from everybody. Excuse me, got a frog in the throat now. I like the description of the regrowth as just too much grass, Matt. Very good. Poor old Martin. Well, if we all have a dig at Martin, we might be quits with him. You never know. And yeah, okay, let's run through these notes. Oh, Leon, yeah, your shirt's a good test, I think. It looked fine on my screen. So it used to be called cross luminance on old-fashioned TV, didn't it? So I don't know what it's called on this digital stuff. Yeah. Well, actually, the balance wheel has got weights on it, Leon. So I suppose if all else fails, it's a bit of a tricky job, but you can extend the little weights on the side of the balance wheel to slow it down, rather than soldering it. Nice idea, though. And the cylinder head temperature sensors sound interesting. And I think you'll be able to get some 4052s somewhere. If you can't, let me know and I'll see if I can. I don't know how much it cost me to send something to South Africa. I can't believe it to be as much as you were being quoted. Ed, great to see you, and thanks for your comments on my image. Well, it's just as well my image is probably not as clear as most people's, otherwise you'd be even more frightened. And yes, could always GPS lock my clockwork watch. GPS clock, maybe, I don't know. That aerial matching unit looked interesting, but it sounds as if their algorithm just uses SWR. I did build my own one once, which used the phase reading and the impedance, so you could actually match it like you would if you were using a Smith chart. So I was quite pleased with that, but I never got any further than a test rig, as it were. Barris, if you're there, very interesting. I shall look out for ways to perhaps get one of those certificates. And I didn't realise you couldn't use 2.4 gigs in Turkey till recently, so I shall have to... I don't think I've seen any Turkish stations on DATV yet, so be interesting to see what happens there. Gary, if you're still there, I'd never heard SSB called scientific setback, but yeah, you're quite right. Should be. Yeah, the lip sync's still out, Nigel, but I think Matt was saying, I think you have to sort of stop and restart DATV Easy or whatever I'm still using an old... What am I using? I'm still using Freestream Coder, so you definitely have to stop that and start it again before you any updates take part happen. Yeah, Martin and Phil. Well, funnily enough, Martin, me and a friend were out on our bikes with our converted medium wave radios, because we used to listen to Top Band on them, but we could get Radio Jackie. I think it was on 228 or something, and we DF'd them to a field, and it was probably the same guys. They weren't on transits, but they were on push bikes as well, but they suggested we went somewhere else, and we said, well, we're not going anywhere else. So they said, well, maybe you can help instead then. So we used to put their aerials up for them very often on a Sunday. Very often they'd do it from a sewage farm in Beddington, so not the most pleasant location, but I suppose it deterred the officials probably. Yeah, I was getting no trouble with your signal, Phil. It didn't stop or start. Oh, it started. It didn't stop until you stopped it yourself, so not sure why that should be. And yeah, the H266, very interesting. I always worry though, you know, what to squeeze it that much, 50%, I think you said, you've got to lose something, and I wonder what it is. I guess it's probably all right unless you start moving around quickly. I mean, even H265 is a bit... that's not too bad, is it? But yeah, very interesting, Matt, that it's actually F1EJP is generating it. I shall have to have a look for that zip file. Right, well, I know John G7JTT wants to come on, so I'll whiz it round to you, Leon. And then we'll all wait and see what John's got to say. And I hope you're feeling better today, John. ZS1 Mike G4 Fox King standing by and wishing everyone a very good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is in your part of the world. Cheerio.
Okay. G4FKK in the group, ZS1 Mike returning. Right, yeah, I must also go, but just quickly, I don't know if Gary is still there. Nigel, yes, you still have quite a bit of a mismatch in your lip sync, but otherwise your picture and audio is good. Okay, KOE, what did I say here? Something about switching. Barras, okay, very interesting. Was it during earlier in the week? Somebody was transmitting something about this Mars mission on Earth. That was very interesting. Yeah, so we must please remind us so we don't miss it on the 23rd, and we'll make some recordings and let you have it. That sounds very interesting. Phil, your signal is solid with me, perfect, except that your audio is low quite a bit, and you tend to drop your voice as well at times. Then you really almost disappear. But nothing wrong with the signal. Steady as a rock, no dropouts, no nothing, perfect. Just turn up the mic gain a bit. Okay, and Matt, yeah, very interesting with all your doings there. You've got a very sharp picture, you know. It's very dark background and stuff. In the old analog TV days, we didn't like that. They always said black and sinks, oh, the poor finals, you know. Because we all used negative modulation. That's now in the broadcasting industry. And black and sinks, that's as hard as you can drive a transmitter. So your picture would not have been very welcome with all the black. But here on the DATV it looks fine. And the content's got no effect on the modulation. Okay. Yeah, that's about it from me. Ed, yes, I also like the busy background, but do you know what it did to your picture? Your beard is not discernible at all. It's just a mush. The writing on your cap is just readable. So whereas normally your picture is crisp, so yeah. My theory of a busy background robs your picture from detail. That's for sure. That's. I just wanted to prove that with this plain blank background that I'm using here. That's about as sharp as you'll get anything, because you're not wasting any bandwidth. Okay, gents, and G7JTT, welcome back. I'll be watching, but I'm not coming back. So Ed, I give it to you if you're still there, and then you can give it to John. PY2 Romeo November for the group from ZS1 Mike saying cheerio, but still listening.
QSL, Leon. Thank you. No, you were right. I mean, the busy background, it will mess with the I can see here. I'm totally best there. But anyways, you know, you're not losing too much. For I just would like to say to Phil, Mike Zero Papa India Tango. Yes, I do have some freezes on your transmission. Has nothing to do with your power. Someone is transmitting over me. No, my impression. No, no, no. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the signal level, but I think it has to do with Open Tuner from Tom Zulu Radio 6 Tango Golf. I realized that some stations, depending on the system they use to transmit, Open Tuner will freeze. And that's exactly what's happening here to me, and I believe to someone else. I don't know if it's to Martin, G8 QOE, but certainly to people using OpenTuner, those freezes are happening. So I believe it's more a problem with the OpenTuner, since people using other software to decode, they are not experiencing any trouble on your transmission, Phil. So that's it. And very interesting about H266. Very interesting. Yep, I'll search it. And QSL that it demands more processing. Yep. Yeah, everything has a cost. For bodies, Oscar Hotel 2 Uniform Delta Sugar, congratulations on the initiative, very interesting. I will try to capture some KGS-TV images and send to you guys. Also, if there are going to be any DATV activity, for sure I'm going to try to capture. It's going to be next Sunday, right? 23 is going to be next Sunday. So maybe you can join, you or any other station can join here the worldwide DATV Net. At this point, everybody gonna capture and for sure gonna send to get the award. The only thing I hope it's the award doesn't have your photograph on that. Bodies, because you showed some pictures and some awards. It seems that there is your photograph on those awards. I don't want that. No, just kidding. All right, guys. Thank you very much for all, and I'm gonna send back to you, buddies. Hotel Oscar Hotel 2 Uniform Delta Sugar, and you please pass it to, I think, John Golf 7 GTT. I think is gonna join. So buddies, sending to you, my friend. Bye bye to all. 73. Have a nice week.
Here and there, menu, setup, reception, manual scan. Yep, I think you can hear my audio. Now I will take it to video. My working conditions are not good enough yet, but they will be okay soon. As I said, I'm working from a messy environment for now. And okay, Ed, I will not send you my photo because you can capture my photo from from DATV if you need it. And thank you all for your thoughts about the activity. And next week I will inform you prior to the activity. Before we start, let me disable this camera and get it here. Yep, now you see me better, I guess. back online again. I'm not sure, but I will check the transmission page. Looks like okay. Yes, I think I'm back online again. Sorry. About the activity we had last week, it was about another activity with the kids, with young people. We had a virtual Mars mission where we had a crew of 7 people mimicking the life in Mars, and all the communications between the Mars and Earth are being simulated by 2 stations, Delta Lima 2 India Echo, Ismail from Germany, and me, Oscar Hotel 2 Uniform Delta Sierra in Finland. So one side was playing the Mars space and one side was playing the Earth space, and we were transmitting all the data between Mars and Earth over DATV or over satellites using other capabilities. And the people who were in mimicking the Mars environment, they were just using Zoom to communicate with each other. So it was just mimicking the life in Mars, and they are fulfilling some duties. Yes, next week I'll inform you about what we can do, what we will do. And again, yes, still in Turkey until the end of this month, we have a special permission to be on QO-100, or to transmit on 2.4 gigahertz. We have a lot of Turkish stations working on the satellite, on the SSB side mostly. I think we have roughly 20 people. They are mostly on the 777 as a frequency. Started using the emergency part, but now moved to 777 for communication. They are mostly active on SSB, nowadays on FT8 and KGS TV. They are just trying to have some fun on the satellite, and they are trying to enjoy the QO-100 activities. We have a few stations preparing themselves for the DATV part. Most probably not this week, but next week we may have a few Turkish stations on the DATV side as well. And as I said, we are trying to support them to build up their stations. Everybody, thank you very much for this net. Hope to see you next week. Next week I will be mostly busy on transmitting images on the KGS TV part and the DATV part, but if I can have time, I would like to join you here. So, see you next week. Greetings from Finland, greetings from Turkey. See
Right, let's hope I'm on. I've skipped over to someone else at the moment. Right, okay, we've got some audio. Good evening all, or good afternoon, good morning, whichever it is, anywhere in the world you are. Apologies I'm on so late. I keep forgetting this Sunday net. Most of the time I'm not well enough to get on at the moment, but anyway, that's 80-minute stuff, so we'll leave that alone for now. But I'm feeling a lot better today, which is good. So that's hence I've managed to go. I just literally got the notification on my phone. I was watching it downstairs. I thought, well, why am I watching it? I should be on it. So here we are. A couple of things that got me interested going. The likes of Martin, as in FKK, may remember the talk of pirate radios and so on. I lived in the same part of London as where Martin lives now, and quite a few others live. And I just wondering if you remember the one and only, as far as I'm aware, the one and only pirate TV station that used to operate around the Crystal Palace area. The guy was using VCRs plugged into amplifiers, and he was testing it for something or other. I don't know, I can't remember what the story was now, but I just remember that all he ever used to play was Yellow Submarine. So yeah, that was back probably early 80s, I think, something like that. But yeah, he got caught and ceased. So it was a quite a short-lived career, I think. The other thing is, I'll talk to Nigel in a minute about lip sync. I don't know if mine's particularly great. I've not really checked it lately, but there is something I noticed the other day. I forgot to mention it on the net the other night, Nigel. I think your problem is you're setting it in two different places, and you need to set it up correctly first in one place before you set it up in the second place. But I'll go on to that in a second. For me personally, I've not really been doing too much for obvious reasons, but I have been playing around with Meteor Scatter, which has got me interested, mainly because of the work that Dave has been doing and others with regards to a meteor beacon in the UK. So I'll just quickly show you what I've been up to, and then I'll go across to say about the lip sync. That's the Moxon that's now built. Only took me 3 weeks to build it, but that's 3 weeks with chemo, so it's not always the easiest things to be outside. But anyway, that's the finished product's up now. It's actually all glued up. Its match is pretty good and everything else. And then if I come back to me quickly, screen, I need to get something else up. Where are we there? These are some of the bursts that I've been getting. So there's one burst that was from this morning, I think, early hours of this morning. And there's another one. So that's a nice classic one, that, because there's the burst of it coming in, and then you can see where the nice ionized part comes down below. So that was, I think, about 5 or 6 seconds long. So that would have given you enough time to get quite a nice little message through. And if I get rid of this, I've actually been getting some random decodes today. So we've got F4 ARU and F1 JE, JGE, sorry. Just random ones. I've just been monitoring it. I've not got enough power to transmit, so not much point in doing it. So there's stuff around. With regards to the Mars stuff, yes, we've seen that before. There was some on our local news about it. Let me just get back to me. Where in the UK they've been doing something similar. They've been using radio to transmit between one place to another and simulating it all, etc. So yeah, we're definitely getting involved with that. And actually, what I should have shown you on the other page, where are we? On there, what I have actually done is tweeted it as well for you. So hopefully that'll get a little bit of a message out to people as well. So we've done a little bit for you there. Right, for Nigel, I'm going to try and show you something. This may or may not work, so bear with me. What you need to do first off is go into OBS, go to Virtual Cam and open up Virtual Cam. So let me just get rid of some of this to make it a bit less cluttered. Right, when you've got Virtual Cam, you need to stop it and set it to a particular number. In my particular case, I've got it set to 4. Then what you need to do is open up OBS, which is there. Sorry, open up, not OBS, VLC. Go to Open Capture Device, and you need to select OBS Camera, OBS Audio, and press play. Now it's just going to do me in now because I'm hearing my own voice. So let me just do that. What you need to do there is that's taking the output from OBS and you're seeing it. You need to play around with that figure in Virtual Cam. So the buffered frames, play around with that until you've got perfect lip sync within your VLC. When you've got that working, you know that VLC is, sorry, OBS is lip synced. So you've not got an issue there. So you're fine at that point. Then go on to the DATV Easy and adjust it on there. I think what's happening is you're adjusting it on virtual cam and you may be too far out for DATV Easy to bring it back in again. So you'll need to do the two. So to VLC, just go to media, open capture device and select OBS camera and OBS audio. And then you'll be able to play around with that with the buffered frames. And that will get you to a 0 point coming out of OBS, which then goes into DATV Easy and hopefully will sort out your lip sync issues. Let me get back to me. There we go. So that was it really. Yeah, apologies that I don't get on as often as I should. I think most of you know, but I've just come out of a major operation with bowel cancer, etc., 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 and I'm still in the recovery process. So I have good days, I have bad days. Today's been a good day. I've managed to do quite a bit today, but no doubt tomorrow will be a bad day. So that's just the way it is at the moment. But anyway, so I will try and get on more often. It's not like I'm doing anything else. I'm housebound at the moment because it's too cold to go out. So I should get on more often, but the biggest thing is fatigue. I actually fell asleep in this chair the other night watching the net on when I wasn't on. I was too tired to actually come on, but I actually fell asleep in the chair. My wife come up and caught me before I ended up butting the table. So yeah, it's difficult, but I will try and remember next weekend to get on. And definitely interested in the Mars thing, because I think someone was saying something the other day. I was listening to the radio this morning. They were saying they were doing a play, and sorry, I know I'm rabbiting at the moment, but I haven't been on for ages. And they were doing. The guy picked up. The kid had a telephone, and he picked up the telephone. He looked at the teacher, and he said to the teacher, "What do I do with it?" They didn't know what to do with it. They know how to use a mobile phone, but most people now don't even have house phones, because you've all got mobile phones. He didn't physically know what to do with it. And I think that's where kids, they've lost that imagination. And I think things like the Mars thing and stuff kind of brings that imagination back. It ain't all just internet and phones, In the future, the kids are going to have phones as big as this, aren't they? Because that's all they do. They just do that all day long. But I've got to remember the camera's there, not over there. But it's good to see it. And I think a lot more things to get youngsters interested, because we're going to lose all our future, the likes of the pioneers that got us to where we are now. Even the likes of Dominique and stuff, and what he's doing, and so on. We don't have enough people back filling them. So yeah, definitely get more kids up. Okay, right, with that, wish you all the best. Love to see you all, and I will try my best to remember next week. I'll set the time when we no, it's definitely not anything to do with that, I can guarantee you. There's two major side effects of the chemo that I'm on. One is the pins and needles. So if I get cold, I instant pins and needles, and that can be in any part and every part of my body. If I go outside, I can get pins and needles in my nose, my throat, my lips, my eyes, cheeks, anything that gets touched cold. I've normally got things on. I've took them all off at the moment because it looks as if I'm in freezing cold, but I'm not. If even like putting your hand on a door handle, just touching that metal handle, you'll get instant pins and needles in your hands, and then you can't hold things properly. That's the major thing at the moment, but that wears off after about 10 days or so. But the fatigue is the thing. It just it's soul destroying. You'll sit there. I fell asleep the other day, much to the annoyance of the wife. She came home, she found me with one controller in this hand and one controller in that hand, asleep on the chair. And she couldn't get either controller out of my hand to turn it over. And I don't know what I was watching, something on YouTube, no doubt. And she had to sit there until I woke up, because she didn't want to wake me up, watching some boring thing that I was watching on YouTube. So, yeah, I've been told now I'm not allowed to hold the controls anymore if I'm going to fall asleep. Right, with that, round to whoever's to take it. If not, a very good afternoon, evening, morning, whichever it is anywhere in the world. And as I say, I'll try my hardest to get up on time next week. 7-3 all, G7 JTT.
Come back on, just to recap. I'll just okay, get rid of that. Let me go back to